Hello YouTube Pipers, it's Double O Pipe here, aka Rick. I'm still trying to break in that pipe that I think I refurbished. And I have Carter Hall in it, because that seems to be the best of the tobaccos I've tried in it. Well, first thing this morning I called smokingpipes.com and I got the where's my mind? I got the gift certificate off to, where did I put that thing? Doggone it. You know, I don't remember anything. My mind is, well, I'm just old. I'm sorry. I'm just old. I I did remember to call them to get the gift certificate. But it's off to California to David now. They said they'd get it in the mail today. Now with me, I usually get things within 2 days whenever they mail something, but I'm in the same state they're in. This has got to go cross country, so USPS ain't the most, well, let's just say I've had things lost. And I've had things go from pillow to post before it got to me. I've had things come to Charleston and from Charleston be shipped to Florida for who knows why and back to Charleston. So with me, I'm not a big fan of the USPS. But here's hoping that within the week that gift certificate will arrive. See, I did remember that. My TV died on me, so I had to get a new TV, and I ordered it through Amazon.com because my son told me it was a good TV, so I ordered it, but it won't be here until next Tuesday, August 1st, which really doesn't bother me that much because I can watch it on here, what I want to watch. I don't care what size the screen is. The one that died, my buddy Larry helped me put it together and put it in the room, and that was back in the mid-90s. So that TV lasted a long time. I was watching something, I kept saying, boy, these, because it was an old show from the 50s, and I said, boy, it's a shame these these DVDs they have for the old shows in the 50s are so poor that they look that way, and all of a sudden the whole screen went blank except for some green, red, and whatever color lines in it. And I said, well, dang. Those DVDs really are bad. And then I realized it was the TV. So I have that and a couple of other electronic devices that I have to take away to the dump because you can't put them on the side of the road. They don't pick that stuff up. And the TV I ordered is way bigger. I have no idea how big things are until I start trying to figure out if it'll fit on that table that's back there. It's too big for that table. So I have to get rid of that table, and I have an end table that I have to get rid of. So I called the Kidney Foundation. They said they would come pick it up. But that won't be till Thursday. asked my son, don't all these new TVs, don't they spy on you? And he said, not if you don't fix up Alexa. And I said, well, I don't know how to do that. You help me with that? Yeah, help you with that. But I never have liked Alexa. A friend of mine gave me an Alexa for Christmas one year, and I gave it away because I didn't want it in my house. I know I've heard people talking to this thing and it'll give answers back, but I just have no desire to have that in the house. Anyway, new TV on the way. Old TV in the car ready to go to the dump. Man, I tell you, it's been quite a weekend. Back when I was a kid, we lived in a house that at the time I just knew was haunted. I just knew it. It was an ugly little house. But it was right next to my cousin's. That was its only redeeming quality. And it had an old garage. We were renting this from, I don't even know who it was. But we were renting this house. Well, my folks were renting this house. I was just living there with them. I wasn't contributing anything, naturally. But it was an old garage. And on the back of it, I don't know why, it must have been to help give it stability or something, but it was a section of corrugated iron metals of some kind, that Ripley effect metal that's, I don't know, I guess that gives it strength too, so ripple effect. But it was slanted at like a 45-degree angle at the back. And it gave us kids, if we walked along the edge, and because you couldn't walk up it because you'd slide right back down. But if you grabbed hold of the edge and held on and walked up slowly, you could get up to the top, which is what we did. But, you know, we were stooped over holding on to that. And we were told constantly, do not go on that garage. Wrong thing to say to a kid. And it had a backboard for a basketball net, hoop, whatever you call it, that had been removed a long time before. This had to be 1951, because prior to that we had lived in town in an apartment and then moved to a project, and from the project we moved to this house. And previously in the past, my grandparents had lived there and rented that place. So it was kind of a rental that was in the family. That house that I hated, I always made sure the doors were unlocked because I wanted to get out of the house. I didn't care if anything got in. I just wanted to make sure I could get out easily. Because it scared the... It did. It scared me a lot. Well, the yard in between the place we were staying and my cousin's place, that was our playground. And this top of this garage was like a castle. That's what we pretended it was. It was a castle. And that backboard was more of the castle structure to ward off any attacks. Well, we kids, there were a bunch of us, and we'd all get together and we'd all get buckets and pick up pine cones and all that kind of stuff, and we'd take the buckets up slowly on the side. This was hard for a kid, believe me. Holding on to the side and holding on to a bucket and trying to help yourself up the side until you got to the top was a chore. But we did it. We had several buckets with pine cones, the kind that are open and brown and the kind that were green and stickly or prickly and hurt when you held them too hard. And there was a field behind the houses. We'd go out there and get some sticks that were long, that we would shave off everything that was on it till it was long, and you could chuck it like a spear. Well, we had until about noon to get all our weapon and gear together. And we would climb up there. So many of us would be on top of the castle, and so many of us would be attacking the castle from below. We'd have everything, we'd find everything and have it all up prepared on top of the roof, and the others would be down below and have all of their implements of war at their touch. And at noon, the war began. And they would come screaming, "We're going to get you, we're going to get you." And they'd start throwing their spears, and they would hit the platform, or the whatever that board was that the hoop used to be on. And they would go whack, whack, bang, bop. And we'd stand up whenever they finally finished, and we'd throw our pine cones at them. Whop, whop. And they would have the old tin lids to the trash cans, and they would go ping, pang, and knock them away so that they didn't get hit by them. And we had that backboard. So we all had our weapons and we all had our protection. Once we threw ours, we would get down behind the backboard, and their missiles would start flying. Ping, bang, bang, bah. And then when we heard that the noise had stopped, we'd stand up and we'd throw ours down. Ping, bang, whop. And then we'd get down again. And up would come their spears and their pine cones. Big box, over the side, hit behind us, thud. And then they'd stop and we'd start again. I threw a green one down, and I ducked real fast, and I heard somebody go, "Ow!" We couldn't look over because we were being attacked at the time, but somebody was yelling bloody murder down there. And everybody said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" "I'm bleeding." "What do you mean you're bleeding, sissy?" "I'm bleeding." That green pine cone with all those stickers on it, it hit him in the head, which bleeds profusely, as you probably know, if it gets cut. So he had blood pouring down. I mean, it wasn't a serious injury, but it was lots and lots of blood pouring down. He was screaming bloody murder. And we kept yelling, "You sissy." So they got mad about that, and they started throwing more stuff. Bang, dang, ding, bang, oh, ting, tang, oh, womp, womp. And we'd stand up and throw. That went on for a bit, and that kid was still yelling about he was bleeding. So finally, my mother came out and said, "What's all this noise?" And we were hiding behind the backboard. We weren't supposed to be on this roof. And she said, "What's going on?" And everybody stopped and, kind of put their hands behind their backs and dropped their implements of war. And we were up there trying to keep out of sight. But my mother knew better. She yelled, Ricky, and my cousin's name, she yelled those. So we had to stand up. We stood up and we said, yes, ma'am. She said, what are you doing on that roof? We've told you and told you and told you not to get up on that roof. Now get down off of that roof right now. So we would go to the back and slide down that incline, whomp onto the ground, and we'd come around and we'd get a lecture about being on the roof again. I mean, we knew we weren't supposed to be up there, but that was part of the game. That was our castle. That was where we were protected from these weapons. So anyway, my mother said, I don't want to see you up there again. And she said, lunch is on the table. Now you guys quit and go get lunch at your house, and Ricky, you come inside. And I said, yeah. I said, we won. And they said, no, you didn't. I said, we did too. We drew blood. And they said, well, okay, we say you won then. But don't you forget, tomorrow you're down here and we're up there. And we all went, okay. Because we were going to do the same thing again. We didn't care what was said. It was fun going up there. But anyway. It was like being king of the mountain. We're up here and you're down there. And to a kid, that was way high up. It really did feel like a castle. The guy that got hit with the pine cone, it wasn't serious. It was just a scalp cut, which always bleeds a lot. He was making the most of it. But I have to admit, those green pine cones, man, they hurt. They're solid, and they've got those little, you can't even hold them in your hand too tightly because it hurts your hand. Another silly story. Another childhood memory. Playing war with weapons like we always did. Because that was the drama of life. War and weapons. And winning. We were grown-ups when we were playing war. And the thing about us playing war is we could go home when it was over. We didn't understand anything. We were just having fun. Too much fun sometimes. All right. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's just a silly story. Silly time in childhood. One of these days I'll tell you about that house that I knew it was haunted when I was little. I just knew it. It scared the fire out of me all the time. And it was so low to the ground. You felt like you were oppressed by the ceilings being so low. They weren't the normal height of a ceiling. They were lower than that. I don't know who built this house, but it was scary. I have to tell you about it. Y'all take care. Be good. Hope you enjoyed your day or are enjoying your day. God bless. Till the next time. Bye-bye.